Well, hey folks, Dr. Grimes here. I gave you a little bit of information about me in the opening video on the discussion board, but this is your first real chance to see me live and up close as I talk about our syllabus. There's always questions about how things work or what I should be thinking about with this or how does it all fit together into a big picture. So I like to do these syllabus videos where I talk through the thing, try to anticipate and answer your questions. And normally this syllabus video is ready on the very first day of class because my summer was a whirlwind and I'm doing a lot of different things just around teaching because there was a smaller than normal gap between the end of summer and the beginning of fall for a lot of different reasons. Excuses. I didn't have it ready at the start of the semester, but I'm putting it out here now. You can hopefully watch it this weekend, and before we get into the first real significant week of the semester, you got an idea of what to expect. What I'm going to do here is share my screen. What you should be seeing is a copy of the syllabus that I hope that you've already printed. If you haven't, you might pause this video, go print it so that you can make some notes on it. And I'm going to assume that you've done that or you've already got it. We are in Fall 22. This is Principles of Management Online. There is my cell phone number. Feel free to text me or call me. Just don't do it after 11:30 at night because I am in the bed until about 6:30 in the morning, and the phone is at the other end of the house. So I'm not going to get up and answer it. Even if I do get up, I've got a house that's really, really long, one story from side to side, and I probably can't get to it before it goes to voicemail. But if you text me, don't assume that I know who you are, even if you've had me before for something else. I think everybody's brand new in this class. So you'll need to say, hey, this is Stanley from the online principles class. And then if you text me again 2 days from now, you're going to have to remind me again because I don't store your phone numbers to my contacts. I'd have thousands of students that I've never talked to again. So every time you text me, this is Stanley, this is Jonathan, this is Priscilla, whatever, from online management class. And then tell me what you've got. If you want to call me, I'm not going to recognize the number. I'll probably pick it up and say, hello, this is Mark. And then you can say, hey, Dr. Grimes, this is Priscilla from online management or whatever. Give me a frame of reference so that I can shift my head into the right atmosphere before we start answering. What we want to do in this class is just learn about the basic ideas of management. And this is a great course. I teach it on campus in the classroom, and we met, as I record this on Friday morning, we met yesterday for the first time, and I said, listen, even if you've got a friend who's in nursing, if you've got a friend who's in psychology, if they've got a free elective, encourage them to take principles of management because no matter where you are in life, one day there's a good chance you'll be a manager. And even if you're never a manager, you will almost always have one. So whether you are one or you interact with one, understanding management is in your best interests. So this is a great class for everybody. We don't get a whole lot of folks who aren't business majors, but it really could help understand why managers do what they do. When you get ready to be a manager, you'll kind of understand what's expected of you. It's very easy as a non-manager to think, what does he do all day? He sits in his office. I'm sure that he gets in a lot of good hands of solitaire. But you don't have a frame of reference as to what managers do. And this class will open your eyes to that. The learning outcomes are here on page 1. Lots of different things there. There is one textbook. It should look like this. There's a picture of it on the content section of class. You're going to need Microsoft Word. You're going to forget about that part about the good webcam for creating instructional videos. That was from another template on another class, and I forgot to delete that. But you will need 3 ProctorU access codes for 3 of the 5 exams. Enrollment verification, participating in class, means that you've done the check-in quiz, which is very easy. Gives me your cell phone number, and it gives me your alternate email address in case you go silent for a week. I can send you a text and say, hey, everything going okay? We've missed you. Same thing with the Gmail or the Yahoo or whatever. You haven't logged in 10 days. I want to make sure that everything's good with you and that we don't need to work out something. You've got to do both of those things by Monday night, or I will tell the registrar's office that you're not fully participating. If you do, well, the hello video, I didn't talk about that. Just a 2-minute video that says, hey, I'm Mark. I'm in my 3rd year. I live in Colquitt, Georgia. Here's something interesting about me. right? Do the check-in quiz, do the hello video. If you do the quiz but not the video, I'm going to tell the registrar you're not fully participating. They're going to drop you from class. If you do the video but not the quiz, I'm going to tell the registrar you're not fully participating. They're going to drop you from class. So do them both by Monday night. As I just mentioned, this class is really, really significant. If you're a management major, this is the gateway into the rest of the management world. If you're not a management, you're going to have a manager one day, or you're going to be a manager one way, even if you're going into accounting. You know, a lot of you over the course of time will be promoted to a management role within accounting, and you need to know about management. Here's the grading criteria. It is completely points. It's not that tests are 40% or whatever. You just accumulate as many points as you can throughout the semester. The verification activities, 30 of the points. 4 written assignments. I'll talk about them a little bit more in just a minute, but they combine for 200 points, 50 apiece. 5 discussion boards. The written assignments and the discussion boards both will focus around a general idea. The big difference between those is that the written assignment is just you talking to me. The discussion board is you talking to the rest of the class. 5 discussion boards, 20 points apiece. Quizzes. There are actually 24 quizzes. There are 24 different sets of chapters. Chapter 1 and Chapter 13, we do the whole chapter all at one time, but every other chapter, except for a few we skip, Chapter 5, Chapter 8, whatever, that we skip because that's basically what you cover in business communications or that you cover in international business or whatever. Every other chapter is divided up into 2 pieces. So for every section that we look at, there is a quiz. The quizzes, I'm getting into the next page a little bit, the quizzes are set up to where they're open book. So you can flip through the chapter as you look for the answers to these things. If you've read the chapter and you've looked at the PowerPoint, you're kind of going to know some of this stuff already. You have 2 opportunities to take the quiz. So the higher of the 2, you come in and you get a 9, you can, like playing blackjack, you can sit on the 9, I'm happy, or you can say, I'm going to try for a 10. You don't know which question you got wrong. So you could end up with a 7, but we'll keep the 9 rather than the 7. You get a 6, by all means, take it again, because 7 or 8 certainly improves the number of points that you've got. One thing related to gradebook is when that quiz is graded, it's going to say that you got a 60 on it. Don't freak out about that because you didn't get a 60, you got a 6, right? If it's point-based and you got a 60, it means you've lost 40 points off of the semester. But if it's a 10-point quiz, you've only lost 4 points. So as you see at the bottom of this chart, 1,030 points. A 3 on a quiz means you've only lost 7 of those 1,030 points. So it's not alarming. None of these things are that alarming. You can do very poorly on any 1, any 2, maybe even any 3 of these and still have enough points through everything else to get the grade that you want. So look at each item independently in the big picture and recognize that it's only 50 points or it's only 20 points and ignore the percentage that it gives you in the grade book. All right, so 24 quizzes, 4 of them you can drop. If I don't feel like taking a quiz today, don't take it. Get a 0 on it. It's going to be dropped. You don't do well on one, don't stress. Even after 2 attempts, don't stress. You're going to drop 4 of them. Theoretically, you do every quiz all along, and then when we get to Thanksgiving, you haven't used any of your drops. You don't do any more quizzes, and you just drop the last 4 grades, however you want to approach it. Exams, 100 points apiece. There'll be 50 questions, true, false, multiple choice, matching, as many points as you can accumulate according to the right answers that you give me. They're not designed to be super difficult. If you've read the material, if you've looked at the PowerPoints, the quizzes won't have the questions that you're going to see on the exams, but they're going to focus on the kinds of things that you need to know about the exam. So if the first quiz, for example, has a lot of things that kind of point to a particular person, that person's important, and you're going to see a question about that person. So you'll kind of know enough about that person to be able to answer the question when it shows up on the exam. Final is going to be 100 questions. 80 of those questions come directly from exams 1 through 4, word for word. The other 20 come from chapter 15. So if you've done fairly well on the quizzes, the exams, you ought to do pretty well on the final too. I don't think I'm going to give you access to the exams to review, but you've seen the questions on the exams. You kind of remember those things. You got to get 927 points to get an A, 824 for a B, and so forth. All right, reading forward, we've already talked about most of this stuff. There are rubrics that go with these things. You should be able to access them through your Go view. I think you can go to assignments and then rubrics, and then you can call up any one of the rubrics and kind of see what it is that I'm looking for. Particularly on the discussion boards, you've got to be able to post the day or two after it opens to get full credit. You have to post on 2 other people. So you come in, you create a 200-word initial response to the discussion board, you hit submit, suddenly you can see everybody else's posts. Do not do anything else that day. If you want full credit, post your original post on Sunday or Monday, and then wait until Tuesday or Wednesday, and then go in and read some other posts and pick one of them to respond to in 75 or 80 words, 100 words. Make sure that it adds something to what they've said, not just, hey, great post, I agree with you, I hope you have a good class. That doesn't add anything to the discussion. So add something to the discussion, and then post on for full credit, initial post in the first day or two, posting on 3 different days during the week, posting your original plus follow-ups on 2 other people, staying on track with your posts, and using good grammar and spelling. And that should get you the full points every single time. You post all 3 times on one day, you lose some points. You post on your original post, and then you post on somebody who posted on you, so it's still on your original post, you lose some points. Hopefully that makes sense. The discussion boards, there aren't particularly right and wrong answers. In each case, it's going to be something like, we've talked about this in this particular chapter. Think about your job or this organization you're part of, and tell me a little bit about how you see this idea in your job. So there's not really a wrong answer, it's just how well you express your ideas. If you don't really tell me much, make sure you understand what the question is and answer that question with some detail, and you should be okay. Quizzes, exams, we've talked about. Here's the windows for the exams. I need to highlight it on this side. Here's what it covers. We're not going to cover Chapter 5. We're not covering Chapter 14. We are covering Chapter 15. That's a big part of the final. It's the exams 1, 2, and 3 are through ProctorU. You should be able to go out there, and the last I heard, exams 2 and 3 are, I think, already out there for you to make appointments. I'm not sure if exam 1's out there yet, but don't get alarmed if it's not. There's just so many exams that our person has to code in there and build in there that she hasn't gotten around to all of them yet. So it should be out there in the next week or so if it's not out there today. Keep looking. When I say that the window opens at 8, that is the window within GoView. You'll have to look at ProctorU to see when specific appointment times are. That's especially important if you're planning to take it on the last day. My exams are open for 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You've got 4 days, and I find that most people take it on day 4, and I'm going to encourage you to take it on day 2 or day 3. Because sometimes you get in there and there are problems and you have to reschedule. If you go in there at 9 o'clock on Sunday and there's problems, you can't reschedule without me extending the window. And you need to have a darn good reason why you waited until Sunday and you didn't plan for the possibility of problems. So make an appointment for day 2 or day 3. The last appointment on the first exam is not going to be at 11. You call ProctorU at 11. The last appointment is going to be something like 9:30 or something. They have to allow the time of the exam and time, 30 minutes or something, to go through all the formalities, show me your screen, prove who you are, that kind of thing. But again, try to make an appointment on day 2 or day 3. Generally, when I grade these things, if there's any kind of writing component, I don't plan for these exams in Principles of Management to have writing components. But if I have to grade something like an essay question, I generally do them in the order in which they were received. So if you take the test on day 1, you'll get your grade back faster. If you wait until day 4, it may be several days before the first person has gotten their grade back before you see yours. Exams 1 through 3 use ProctorU. Exam 4 and the final will not. Go ahead and schedule those things early if you possibly can. Expectations there, grade turnaround, give me a week to post grades for discussions and assignments and things like that. Usually they'll be a lot faster than that, but to give me a little bit of time. If I got heavy meetings one week or something, give me a week to get the grades in there. I'm not going to be that teacher that waits 3 weeks to give you grade. I like to give you feedback so you can move forward. On the discussion boards, be polite to people. You may disagree. You may think they're an idiot. Don't call them that. On the discussion board, be nice. Say, that's an interesting point of view, and I've got a different point of view. Let me explain mine. Log in regularly to GoView. Look for announcements on the homepage. I'm going to try to communicate through you that way. If you're concerned in the middle of the semester about your grade, let's talk about it then. Don't wait until the last week and say, I'm going to be 4 points short of an A. What can I do for 4 points? Nothing. You could have done something for 4 points in October, but not in December. Policy on missed work. Generally speaking, the assignments and the drop boxes are open for 6 days, I think it is. And that may mean that they're due on a Tuesday night or they're due on a Thursday night. I don't remember how I structured in the online class. But they have a due date of a particular day, but they have an end date the next day. What that means is I want it in on the due day, but you can still submit it the next day for a penalty. And even after the due date marks it as being late, but it still accepts it. The end date is when it no longer accepts it through the Dropbox. If you have something after the end date, you have to email it to me, and I'll take it for 1 week, Sunday of the week ending when it was due, and I'm going to take off a chunk of points, but I will take it a little bit. After a week from when it was due, we're not even going to talk about it anymore. All right. Give my cell phone number to somebody, a parent, a spouse, a roommate, whatever, if you were to be hospitalized, if you were to be in a car wreck, if you had to leave things and go take care of ailing grandma, and you're out of touch for a week, you'll have somebody that can contact me and say, Melissa is out for several days. She's doing this, and I'll say, oh, okay, thank you for letting me know. That way we don't have any confusion as to where folks are. Only other things here, there's the calendar. On the back here is the summary of what we're doing. You can see every week we're either going to cover a chapter or a part of a chapter, in most weeks 2 little pieces, 1 and 2A, 2B and 3A. Some weeks, especially where we have an exam, we're only going to cover part of 1 chapter. And you'll have the quiz. Every week you've got a quiz or 2. Quiz 1 is over this, quiz 2 is over this, quiz 3 is here, quiz 4 is there, so forth. You'll either have a discussion or an assignment most weeks. In a week where there's an exam, you've got the quiz and the discussion, but you don't have but 1 part of a chapter. That's my phone ringing. It's somebody on campus. I'll call them back in just a minute. In fact, I need to write that down, 2173. All right, that helps you plan your semester. Hope everything makes sense. If you have questions, go to the Ask Dr. Grimes discussion board and post something out there, and I'll answer it. Otherwise, give me a text or a phone call, and we'll take care of you. Hope you have a good semester. Hope that you got some of your fears relieved in terms of what I expect and what you got to do to get your grade. I think most of you are going to do very, very well. It's not designed to be a difficult course. There's just a good bit of stuff you have to do. You got to be disciplined. But if you do it all, you ought to come out with a pretty good grade. Hoping that I can give you one, because you've done everything I've asked, and there's really no reason for me to argue with you about where we stand. That's it for now. Get in touch with me if you have any questions. Any point during the semester, text, call, email, whatever it takes. Let's get you through this. Let's get you one step closer to graduation. Bye for now.